So it's a gorgeous day today here in the Lake District. It's mid-afternoon now and we've pulled up to this fantastic spot in the camper van. We're not sleeping here at all, but this is a great spot to just get organised, unpack all of the gear, clean the van and actually repack our bags, because tonight we are going hiking up into the fells and we're going to do some wild camping. Hopefully we'll get some lovely sunset photography and then sunrise as well. So the area we're going to has lots of variety. But I'm not concerned with that at the moment. What I'm concerned with is getting all of my gear, all of my camping gear into my hiking bag. So we have a tent, a pillow, a camping mat, a sleeping bag, and then I have all of this filming and photography gear down here. We have the drone, a slider, 3 lenses, camera, a jet boil, memory cards, water, you know, lots and lots of gear. Not all of which I need, so I need to decide what I'm taking and what I'm leaving behind. Alright, so this is my luxury pillow, my very expensive but very comfortable luxury camping pillow. This is my Thermarest camping mat, very lightweight, very comfortable, very warm. I've got hat and gloves, I'll pack those later. Looking at all of my camera gear, I would say I'm going to need most of this. I'm probably not going to need the 16 to 35. I don't think that's necessary where we're going, so that can go. Flask of hot tea? Probably not, because I'm taking the jet boil, which means we can make fresh tea on the fell, so that can go. The slider. I don't think I can justify carrying the slider all the way up the mountain, so that can go. So that leaves me with camera 24 to 70, 70 to 200, a drone, a GoPro, some spare batteries, some filters. This isn't even mine. Thank you very much. Head torch, need that. It's all got to go. All the camera gear's got to go in this insert, which will then go into my bag. And as well as all of that, I have to fit on my ginormous tripod. So as we're walking along the top of this beautiful fell in the Lake District, it suddenly dawned on me that this video might be sponsored by Squarespace. And if it is, I'd like to thank them for their continued support. Man, if you need a Squarespace, if you need a website, go to squarespace.com/Heaton. I'm just so all over the place at the minute, I've lost track of my schedule. But yeah, thanks for the sponsorship, guys. I promise to do better next time.
It's a cool hard wind outside my window. go. I breathe you in 'cause you stand still on my pillow. Oh, I stay home with you.
So we're in this beautiful woodland now, this small woodland up on the fells, far enough away from the footpath to be able to camp safely out of sight of anybody so we don't disturb anyone. Nathan is off exploring some woodland about half a mile that way. I'm down here looking for compositions. There aren't actually any compositions from where I am now, but this is a fantastic clearing to pitch our tents. So I'm quite sure that this is where we'll be sleeping tonight. The photography, however, is about 600, 700 or 800 yards that way, where this all opens up and we get some lovely birch trees with autumnal colour, some dead gnarly trees. So that's where we're going to go now. Have a look while the light's good and maybe take an evening photograph up here. Ah, I'm telling you guys, it just doesn't get any better than this, honestly. This is fantastic. So we have about 15 minutes until sunset, and I don't know, it's looking okay. I'm not too excited. I've got my tent set up, we've got camp set up. It's going to be a very, very nice evening. Whether or not we get a photograph, I'm not too sure. If we haven't got one this evening, well, there's always tomorrow morning. So let's go and see if we can use the last of this light to try and grab a nice photograph. So unfortunately, absolutely nothing is happening with the light this evening. It was nice earlier, about an hour ago, but it still wasn't, you know, for me it was still too harsh. I was kind of waiting for a softer, more reflected light off the clouds that I was hoping was going to happen, but the clouds didn't build enough, which is a shame. So the evening's kind of just turned into a fairly dull, flat, uninspiring evening. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm tired, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm not seeing anything right now. There are compositions here, I know that for a fact. There's one in particular that I'm very interested in, but the conditions are not right. You know, I need mist and mood and dull, murky weather. That's what I'm after, and that is forecast for tomorrow. However, I'm not sure that that weather is going to come in early enough tomorrow. I guess we'll wait and see what happens when we wake up from our tents. But for now, I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to go back to my tent, or we're going to go back to our tents, maybe cook some food and relax. So nothing this evening, but I will see you tomorrow morning. So after a cold night's sleep, we've woken up to what looked like quite nice conditions. The weather is certainly moving in from the west. Now there's no mist up here like I had hoped. So a couple of images I had in mind, I'll have to wait for another time. But there is a beautiful view of the lake, with the fells on the other side of the lake, completely surrounded by all of the weather that's rolling in. Yet to the east is clear skies, and that means the light is going to come and hit the fells on the western side of the lake. So could be on for a nice morning image here. Let's see when we get up there. So we're now at the location where we'll be hopefully taking our photograph. I've got my camera set up here, Nathan's just setting up there, and it's a difficult one to call at the moment. I mean, this way is beautiful. We've got the lovely fells on the western side of the lake with all of the sky and the clouds, adding lots of atmosphere and interest into the scene. The sunrise is happening behind me, just here, but there is a lot of cloud rolling in, and my hope for this image was that the sun was going to rise and the light was going to hit the fells on the other side of the lake, which are rich golden brown in their autumn colours as all of the bracken starts to turn. But with the amount of cloud all of a sudden over to the east, I am not sure that we're going to get any light on those fells. But we're going to stick with it, and maybe we will. I can't call it at this moment in time. So stood waiting at that composition, I realised that it wasn't going to. I realised that it wasn't going to happen. All of the cloud has rolled in, covering any potential light coming from the east, which means that waiting and hoping for something to happen over towards the west really was just a waste of time. So I'm going to go back towards the tent and see if I can find an intimate image using some autumn colour or something along those lines. It's not happening for me over there. The light has gone, non-existent, never arrived. So although it was quite a nice composition, it's just not right for these conditions now. So this morning, when I got out of the tent and walked up towards that viewpoint I was at just before, I looked back over my shoulder and I saw all of this lovely colour with the dark grey sky. It really popped, it really stood out and jumped out at me. But I carried on walking because I had this other image in mind. But when I saw that that wasn't going to work because of all of the clouds rolling in, and I'm sure it's about to rain as well, I thought I'd like to come back towards where we camped and see if I can make something of all of these beautiful trees. So I've got the long lens out, and there is one tree in particular, and it's really, the reason it caught my eye is because it stands out as a clear subject. There is order amongst the chaos within that tree. You have all of the yellow, just a sea of yellow, beautiful golden colour. And then you have this strong, dominant black tree trunk with the branches coming out, giving this lovely arc, this nice shape to the scene. So there is something to look at. There is a point in the image of which the eye can stay fixed, and then you have all of this fantastic colour surrounding it. So that's what I'm photographing, that tree. Sorry guys, I've just been distracted because as I was recording this piece of the camera, I felt the light change, and there's this lovely warm glow. I don't know if you can see it, I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but this warm glow that's reflected light from the clouds above. So somewhere there is a break on the horizon and the light is hitting the clouds and reflecting down into the scene, and it's just giving a very nice ambient light over the whole scene. So yeah, it's fantastic. Sorry guys. So the problem here is that it's windy. Okay, we're quite sheltered here, but down there it's constantly windy, and one of the problems with that is all the leaves are constantly shaking, so you're essentially getting a blurry image. Now you can do one of two things here. You can fight it with a high ISO, or you can choose to just go with it and not worry about the shutter speed. At the minute I'm at f8, and that's giving me a 1 second exposure. Which means I'm going to have a blurry image. But that's okay, because I like my woodland images to be soft, ethereal, you know, I don't want everything to be pin sharp. So for me, the image here isn't about the detail and the texture of the leaves, it's about the colour surrounding the black, sort of the stronger subject, which is the tree trunk and the shape that gives. So I'm not worrying about shutter speed. I am taking lots of images because there are moments when the leaves do pause for a second, but I'm not worried about motion blur in those leaves, not at all. If anything, it just gives me an even softer, more painterly image. So what I would say is that I'm now going to take this photograph, f8, 1 second exposure, but as you can see I've already taken like 10. But yeah, you know what, I'm really happy with this image, I'm really happy with this scene, even more so when we had that brief moment of lovely warm light reflecting down into the scene. It's a shame the bigger picture didn't work out, but it comes down to reading the landscape, reading the light, and then planning accordingly for that, and maybe moving on when you need to move on, and sometimes sticking it out when you need to stick it out. And on this occasion I thought, you know what, let's leave that for another time, let's find something else. And looking at this, I am very, very happy that I chose to do that. So that's it. I think it's time to break down camp and call it a day. Only one image from this little camping adventure, but you know, sometimes that is the case, and to be honest, I was lucky to get that one image. It could have quite easily been no images, but that wouldn't have bothered me. Just coming out hiking and camping and spending time with my good friend Nathan. Say hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Just off camera, he was off shooting in another area as to where I was before, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, one image, happy with the image. I'm going to break down camp, we're going to go down to the van, go and get some breakfast, and then it's home time. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Squarespace for their continued support. If you need a website and you want to do an online portfolio, or maybe an online shop, maybe some other super cool web stuff, then definitely consider Squarespace, because it's easy template building. You know what Squarespace, I don't need to tell you this. So go to squarespace.com/Heaton and give it a free try, and if you like your free try, use the offer code Heaton, 10% off your first purchase. And with that being said, I'm gonna go. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.